What is up, YouTube? KSMS Primary back at you with yet another video. This time we're doing another movie review, and this time of a movie that's currently still in theaters. This is a movie I've been waiting about 7 years for. Maybe 6, depending on when you consider the last installment came out. Whether it be in theaters or on Blu-ray and DVD. But either way, I've been waiting a long time for this movie, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. The movie we're going to be talking about today is Jigsaw, the 8th installment in the Saw franchise. Now, I know some of you guys who don't believe me when I've done movie reviews for movies that are still in the theaters, your first assumption is that I didn't see the movie. Well, here's some proof for you. Here's my ticket stub. See, right there, Jigsaw. Today's date, 4:25 p.m. I did go to the actual movie. I kept this as a souvenir. Paid about $12 to get in, and $6 for a soda. But it was worth it. So there's your proof I did actually see this movie. Now, before I do get started, I would like to mention that this review will contain spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, or if you don't want spoilers, then I strongly recommend that you leave this video and come back when you've actually seen the movie and have an actual opinion on it. But for the rest of you, let's get started. Now, we all know this movie takes place in the future, or kind of in present day. The Spirig brothers, as well as James Wan, I think his name is, have said that this movie takes place 10 years after the events of Saw 3, which is when Jigsaw died. As many of you guys will remember, in Saw 3, we saw Jigsaw on his deathbed, and he was carrying out his last few games with Amanda as his accomplice. So we were wondering, who could it be this time? Before this movie even came out, they said that no returning characters except for Jigsaw would be coming back. That means we won't see Dr. Gordon, we won't see Hoffman, we will not see Jill, we won't see Amanda, we won't see any of them. And they were right. We never found out what happened to Hoffman in the bathroom. We can only assume that he died. Because if you saw Saw 3D, you know that Dr. Gordon captured him, locked him in the bathroom, and threw away the hacksaw, so he had no way of escaping. Unless he pulled what Detective Eric Matthews did in the beginning of Saw 3, where he severed his foot with a toilet seat cover, but then again, like I said, we don't know. The movie is actually kind of split. The games that take place in this movie actually took place 10 years in the past. And when the cops are actually arriving on the scene and investigating all the bodies that are turning up, this is more recent. Like, literally, it's taken them 10 years to discover this murder. Because they just didn't have the evidence. And one of the people actually involved with the case is kind of a Jigsaw fanatic. And we kind of thought throughout the whole movie that maybe she's the one fulfilling Jigsaw's legacy. Another person we thought was that guy Edgar, who we thought the guy who shot the guy with the wait, am I thinking that's right? Was Edgar the one who the police guy, the one who shot him when the guy activated the remotes? I don't know, but the head police guy, I think his name was Edgar. I could be wrong. Edgar could have been the guy who actually had the remote and started the whole game in motion. But either way, it's not them. One thing I didn't like about this movie, and I was really concerned about how this was going to happen, is Jigsaw himself actually appeared. Jigsaw himself actually did appear in this movie. Like, we see that if you see the movie, the three people who are left, the black guy, the girl, and the white guy. The black guy dies in that one trap, which I was really curious about how it worked. And the girl tries to escape. And shortly after she breaks out, we see a guy in a pig mask and a cloak kidnap them. And put them in a situation that's vaguely similar to Adam and Dr. Gordon from the first film, where they're chained by their ankles, and they don't know how to get out. And that's when we see Jigsaw still alive. And that's when we find out this game is actually taking place 10 years in the past. Because, well, he obviously wouldn't be... How could he come back to life? Because we saw his autopsy in Saw 4, and we saw This is when my tongue stops working. Jeff slit his throat in Saw 3. So, he sets this game in motion, and they fail it, which leaves the two of them to die. And then the head police guy comes after the girl and his accomplice, who they think are the ones carrying out the legacy. It comes down to one final game where the only way to survive is to confess their sins. The one guy, Logan, fakes his death in order to get the police guy to confess his sins, that he's been killing innocent people and letting the real criminals go free. And that's when he activates his trap and kills him, and reveals that he's going to be the one carrying on Jigsaw's legacy. My one complaint about this movie, they did get a lot of theatrical elements right. We do see flashbacks of traps being built. I mean, we do see a part where Jigsaw and Logan are building the reverse bear trap. If you remember, there's a part in the trailer when someone slams it down on the table. Well, apparently that was back then when Jigsaw and Logan were building it. We do see a variety of other traps from the films. We see the clear glass box that the guy almost drowned in Saw 5. We see the ribcage harness from Saw 3. The eye hole with the gun from Saw 2. So, a lot of familiar traps do make their return. And also, we do see Billy the Puppet twice. He appears one time in person with a tape recorder around his neck, along with the word confess, and his eyes do light up. That's one improvement that's been made to him since previous installments, that his eyes light up. The only other time that he appears is on a video screen to give instructions for 2 games taking place at one time, where the black guy, I think his name was Mitch, and the girl have to survive from being buried alive, while the other guy, I can't remember his name, he's the one who got I'm drawing a blank. His ankle tied up by the razor wires, and he has to pull the lever to save himself and them at the same time. Those are the only 2 times we see Billy. Every other form of instructions are either given on a loudspeaker by Jigsaw or on the traditional tape recorder. And of course we do hear the infamous Hello Zep theme. It's kind of synonymous with the Saw franchise. It's played near the beginning as well as the end. But my one complaint about the movie, the really thing that did kind of disappoint me, is that the infamous line, "Game over," was not said. Anyone who's seen all 7 Saw films know that in 6 of them, the line's been said. The only time it was not said before this was in Saw 5. But it's always ended with Jigsaw or somebody, right as the movie's ending, they say the phrase, "Game over," to indicate the ultimate victim failed their test. You know, I was kind of sitting there, kind of in the theater, kind of anticipating him to say the line, but he didn't say it. Which is too bad, because I really wanted to hear that line one more time. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. So overall, what did I think of the movie? You know, I know the critics and the fans aren't really liking it, at least the people who don't follow the Saw films. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really a new take on the franchise, as they promised it would be. I'm not sure if we're going to get more sequels out of it or not. I mean, with a new person taking on the Jigsaw identity, we possibly could. And the only person who knows it's him is dead. But I'm not sure if we'll ever see another Saw film. It would be nice to see someone else carrying on the Jigsaw legacy and doing his work, but, you know, I'm not sure, really. I mean, anything's possible, but I'm just not sure. Time will tell. If you're someone who actually enjoys the Saw films, then yes, I would definitely recommend seeing it. But if you're not a fan of the movies and you don't understand them, I would pass on it. Or maybe if you haven't seen the original films, definitely watch the original films first before you see this new one if you're not caught up, because then you'll maybe understand some of the story a little bit better. But I personally loved it. I guess that's about it. Later, guys. I am out of here.